Hi everyone, welcome back to ThatJapanLife, me Jill. In this video, I will be doing a full review of this Nihongo So-Matome's N1 Level Listening Comprehension or Chokai Reviewer. As some of you might know, with the goal of taking and fingers crossed passing the JLPT N1 level this year, I bought the entire set of Nihongo So-Matome and the new Kanzen Master N1 reviewers. I did an initial review and comparison of all the books on both series. If you haven't seen that yet, do check it out here. And this time, since I have already finished using this book, I have decided to make a full review of it. So let's get started. First up, let's talk about pricing. This book is priced at 1,600 yen, and that's a couple hundreds more expensive than the other books in the series. If you are going to get it from Amazon Japan, just like I did, it will be priced at 1,760 yen. Next, inclusions. For that price, you are going to get a 63-page softcover book, plus a separate, but at first attached at the back, a separate 44-page script/answer key. For the audio materials, you are also going to be getting 2 CDs, but if, like me, you would rather download your audio materials online, the book's front inside fold of the cover will also give you the link, QR code, and serial code in order to do so. Study schedule. The book suggests that you study 2 pages per day, and doing so, you should be able to finish it in a matter of 4 weeks. Now on to a very important part, let's talk about the book structure. The lessons in the book are divided into 5 chapters, and the titles and topics for each are as follows. The first chapter is a preparation chapter, and there is 1 lesson about practicing pronunciation-related listening techniques. There are 2 lessons about practicing grammar-related listening techniques, and then there's 1 about conversational expressions. And then the first chapter ends with a summary practice test. The second chapter, on the other hand, is about getting used to question patterns. So here, the lessons are about giving prompt responses, identifying the subject, understanding the point, giving the summary, providing the synthesis. Again, there is a summary practice test in order to end the chapter. The third chapter is about listening to different types of conversations. And here, you get to practice listening for certain information, listening for specific instructions, explanations, and also listening for the main point. The final day is still dedicated to a summary practice test. Now, chapter 4 is about remembering various vocabulary and expressions. So in this chapter, you will be introduced to commonly used katakana words, expressions for paraphrasing, and some commonly used expressions. And again, this section still ends with a summary practice test. Now, the last chapter, chapter 5, will give you a longer summary test in order to practice what you have learned over the last 4 weeks. Now, how about the lesson structure? So what happens is you start with a page or so, no more than 2 pages, about the current day's strategy to improve your listening comprehension. In some cases, the lesson also makes use of audio materials plus the accompanying script in order to really demonstrate the technique being discussed. And then after the written lesson, you get 2 to 4 recordings and related questions in order to practice the lesson. And then for each chapter, the summary practice tests are about 3 pages long. Other features. All Nihongo So-Matome reviewers come with English, Chinese, and Korean translations. Now I want to talk about my personal experience and opinion. So the good. First of all, I like that you are able to download the audio materials online and that you can do that very easily, especially because the contender new Kanzen Master Listening Comprehension Reviewer makes you go through more hoops in order to get the recordings from the web. The 1 month or 4 weeks study schedule is also a positive point for me. It is a nice way, in my opinion, to motivate a lazy learner, aka me. And so starting out, I thought, whoa, finishing this in a month, that sounds very easy. And once I did finish it, I felt like I was able to cover a considerable amount within just a matter of 4 weeks. As for the lessons themselves, in my opinion, they're not bad either. The techniques and strategies discussed were easy to understand, easy to follow, and implement, at least on the accompanying questions that were given for each chapter. And the fact that the daily lesson materials were short and very easy to process also made self-studying not too difficult. As for the audio resources, I thought that they were very clear, and as far as I can tell, natural sounding in terms of pace and delivery. Now let's talk about the bad. First of all, I personally wish that there were more practice questions for each lesson. So some of them only came with 2 practice questions, and on the days that I had those lessons, I always finished with the feeling that I didn't do enough. Next point is that though at this point of my studies they suited me just fine, I have a feeling that more advanced level N1 test takers would complain about the audio materials being more on the easy side, and that some of them were made simple to really fit the listening techniques being taught on that day. And lastly, maybe it's just me, but I also would prefer it if there were more variations to the voices, maybe even accents being used. I think there were only 2 or 3 different voices that I could distinguish. So overall, I actually enjoyed this book and I would definitely recommend it, but not as an exclusive resource in order to improve your listening comprehension for the N1 level. It would be a nice book to go through. It would be a nice book to have along with other reviewers, I think. Honestly, it suited me perfectly at this point in my studies where I'm just wanting to get back on track and gradually get used to the level that is required for the N1 test. And so that's my review of Nihongo So-Matome's Listening Comprehension or Chokai Reviewer. Let me know if you have tried out this book and you liked it, or if it's something that you would rather skip while preparing for the JLPT N1 test. Good luck to all of us in taking the test, and thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and a subscribe if you haven't yet.